Guys, gals, and pals, welcome back to Paint and Talk episode 11. Little fun fact, 11 does happen to be my lucky number, so maybe we'll have a good painting today. Maybe, just maybe. Probably not. Don't want to get my expectations up. I'm definitely scared of doing that. But anyways, as always, I hope you had the best 24 hours since the last time I've seen you. Yeah, I think the best today. The best ever. Like, I hope it tops... I said it this once before, but I hope it tops that one, which has probably only been maybe 5 days since that happened. But, listen, we're here all year. It's gonna get inconsistent at some point. Might as well start early and often. That's what I always say. Myself, I will say that for the first time, I'm unfortunately going to report that I have probably not had a great 24 hours. And it's all my own doing, though, which is why I'm gonna come here and tell you the story. Originally, I don't know, I don't want to make these... let's put it this way, right? I'm doing this every day, obviously, by virtue of being a human. I'm sad some days, like, some days just aren't good. But I kind of want to keep these positive, because I think it could really, or if not positive, at least keep them not explicitly depressing, because I think these could really easily turn into just very, like, me painting a Duster album cover and being depressing. I've never even listened to Duster. I just feel like that album cover makes me sad, and I don't like sad music, so I don't listen to that. But either way, I thought it would be... Originally, I was just gonna, keep it walking, not tell the story, but it has to do with art and stuff, artistic progression or whatever. I don't know. This series is all about being transparent with art. So, when I have a story that's pretty directly influential to it, I think it only makes sense that I come here and tell it, So that's what I'm gonna do. I think also this is the first time, like, starting this, I did have a plan, because, maybe you're not here for my main channel. I have a main channel where I make videos more directly talking about art, like video essay style. And I did have a plan, like, right off the bat to do a video around when's 100 days into 2025. Is that March? That's probably, no. That's probably, like, right after March, I'd say. Mid-April, whatever it ends up being. I want to do a video around then about, like, what I learned from my first 100 days of painting. Because I think that's a cool thing to do. I also think, like, I don't want to be the annoying person who promos every day this series. Because, like, one, I forget, to be honest. Two, if I post every day, I might as well not be posting at all, as far as, like, on a community tab goes, you know what I mean? So I don't, promote every day, I promote around every 5 days I plan on doing. So it's a good way to, like, get the word out without it being too forced of, like, I got this thing and I'm doing a little clown dance now to promote it. Because that's just not me, that's just not authentic to me, you know what I mean? So, either way, that was a long tangent. But, this was the first story that I had where, like, I was thinking about it right after it happened, and for the first time I was like, oh, like, that's a story that I'm gonna tell when I do that video about the first 500, or first 100 days of painting. Because I think it was like that. So, context, right? We gotta go all the way back to, when I first started this in March 2024, to get this right. I want to say it was March. It might have been April. Either way, same difference. Originally, Paint and Talk was going to be a series where I went into New York City and painted, right? I live right here. It's going to go in to, like, the heart of Manhattan, paint the Empire State Building, go to Battery Park, paint the Statue of Liberty, that person, that the green girl. I was going to paint her, Chrysler Building, Freedom Tower, Brooklyn Bridge, George Washington Bridge, there's kind of a lot of places in New York City to paint. So I was going to do that, or maybe, do a skyline. I could do it from Brooklyn, all of these things. And then I was like, if people like it, I could end up going to more places. I could go down to Washington. It's a 5-hour train if I go on the Amtrak, so go down to Washington, paint around there. I could go up to Boston, paint... Who knows what's in Boston? Been there twice, so haven't seen many of the monuments, but, maybe there's a guy there who really, I feel like they're known for their baked beans, I've heard, so I'd probably paint that. But you get the point. You get the gist of it. Go around and paint if people like it. It could be a cool thing to do. So because of that, I needed a portable painting thing. I thought, let me get one of the ones where you put it on and you go into like the field to do it, you know? It's kind of what you imagine like a cool painter to have. And I was like, that would be really cool because it would make, I don't know, I just thought it'd be a good way to do it, you know? In the past, and honestly still, when I paint, if I'm painting off camera, I just lay the thing flat on my desk, because I have no issue painting like that. I don't get why we need easels. Like this is actually like a really funny thing for me to say now that you've seen me do this so much. I don't know why I have this thing. Like, I don't get the point of it. Because I can paint just fine on my desk, and if anything, I have more hand control on my desk. You know, if this wasn't on video right now, I would just be hunched over. Maybe your back hurts after a while, is that why? My back hurts all the time anyway, so there's really no good reason. Either way. So, I was like, I need an easel for the first time now that I'm going out and painting. I want to do it more consistently, so I got one of the travel ones. Fast forward, blah, blah, blah. It's a little too big. It's just not that convenient. You know, it just would take up a lot of space. It's not something that I could fit in a backpack, you know? Like, even if I were to strap it on my shoulders, then I also need another bag for, like, just other stuff, you know, while I film, tripods, camera equipment. So I was like, I need something that's small that can fit in a bag with the tripods and camera equipment. Friend was gonna go with me, carry some stuff too. Like, I had a lot of stuff I needed, right? So then I get one of those, it's too big, return it, I get this easel. Fun fact, since we're on the easel tangent, since we're on the easel topic, I hate easels. Like, oh my god, wait, no, that's what I just said already. I hate this easel. Not that I hate easels, they've grown on me a little bit. I did hate easels at one point. They've definitely grown on me. But, like, this easel, I think, just looks terrible. You know what I mean? I feel like painting is an aesthetic activity to me, right? Well, duh, it kind of has to be, right? Like, you're literally rendering an image. Oh my god, this looks like Peppa Pig so far. I'm not painting Peppa Pig, guys. She wears orange, right? Is Peppa Pig a girl? You know, I've never watched Peppa Pig. Wow, that's deep. But anyways, I'm back to this easel. Painting is an aesthetic activity, and I kind of imagine someone with a nice easel when I imagine painting. Obviously, that's stupid. You don't need a nice easel to paint. Like, duh. You know, I've been painting 11 days straight now, and I, you know, had this very ugly easel while doing. You don't need a nice looking easel, but to me, I was like, I just didn't like it because it felt very cheap. It felt, I don't like my easel that I'm painting on to feel like the camera equipment that I'm looking at right now. Like that, I want those feelings to be different. And I think this is one of those ways that, you know, I'm kind of just too, what's the word? Oh my god. It's like, just like picky. It's not, like, kind of like stubborn, but not stubborn, if that makes any sense. I think this is one of those ways where I'm too headstrong, but I really didn't learn that until yesterday, which goes back to the story that we're talking about right now. So I've never liked this easel. So ever since I started doing Paint and Talk like this, in my, you know, in this little cube I have with the lights and with, you know, painting every day and just doing the commentary with the jazz, ever since I started doing this, to me, I've always been like, okay, I need to get that. I need that wooden easel back. Like, that would make this look nicer. And listen, there were some other reasons why I wanted the easel, for sure. One of them is definitely that the easel can hold all the equipment. I have a little table off to the side, and I don't really like having to hunch over and grab stuff. It'd be nice to just pull a draw, paint, back in, you know, brush around the side. So there were some very, like, functional utility reasons, for sure. But the main reason, just above all, is that it looked better, you know? And this goes into, like, half of the topic of today. Half the topic is kind of perfectionism, which is what this story's about, how it kind of bit me yesterday, being too married to an idea and being a little bit of a perfectionist about it. Half of the topic, though, is about complete aesthetics, right? Which is, I'm going to get into a little more after the story, but for the purpose of the story, what you need to know is, like, I love complete aesthetics. And to me, looking at the slightly tanned panels with the noise filters, you know, the yellowed midtones. I have a yellow light up there with the, you know, the wooden palette that I stained to be this color of wood. The brushes are a nice kind of looking thing. I was like, this could be a very aesthetically pleasing total thing, except for this very ugly easel, right? In reality, and let me know actually in the comments below. By the way, I'm so bad at responding to comments. I'm so bad at it. I'm gonna get better. I've been very busy trying to like get into the groove of doing one of these every day. But hopefully I'll be better at it soon. I might start like recording 2 a day for like a week just to get myself a little leeway so I have some time. I don't know, I feel bad about that. Back to the story. I'm getting caught on like a million tangents today. This is crazy. But where was I in this story? So I was like, this would be a very nice complete aesthetic. I don't know if you guys care about that at all. That's what I'm saying. Let me know in the comments below. Do you, like, have you noticed that this easel is significantly uglier than everything else in this set? You know, I guess nothing is like the prettiest exactly. And these brushes are they're pretty good looking brushes. I'll give myself that. But like, is the easel as much of an eyesore to you guys as it is to me? Because I feel like it is. When I'm editing, God, I feel like this easel's an eyesore. And I'm sitting there like, man, I can't wait for people to see a nice easel. Like, I can't wait for this to be the complete aesthetic experience I imagine it to be, of like, not only is the painting and the talking happening, but it's just a nice thing to look at overall. So I've been eyeing this easel. Easels are not cheap for a wooden easel. You know, it was around $100, and finally I get a little bit of money from YouTube. So I was like, all right, I can go for the easel right now, right? Usually I try and just put that money into like lighting or whatever. The YouTube stuff, I guess, I don't know why I'm going into my finances now, but like I try and invest YouTube stuff just right back into YouTube. It's not like I'm making enough money where I'm gonna be like going out and like really getting a Bottega coat, you know what I mean? So I try and really just put it right back into whatever, like, it has been annoying me, a better camera. So I was like, okay, technically I'm gonna be painting every day. This is what I want to be like a fun thing I do, a big thing for the year. So I'm like gonna reinvest this into the easel. I get the easel. Beautiful easel. This is the best easel. This is an awesome easel. Like, I still have it right outside of this cube I'm in. Like, I'm keeping this easel because it's such a cool easel. So I guess I really did just break my little, what I just said is like the standard for how I am like doing my reinvestment. But you guys are my accountants. I don't have an accountant, so I can do that. Accountants are a ball and chain, like no other. I have no idea, I'm joking. But, you know, anyways, beautiful easel. The wood matches the palette, which is what I wanted. It's like a walnut, I think it is. It's a really nice looking wood. And I put it in, and I'm looking at the complete set. The one other thing I got that you guys might have noticed, I hope it's not still dragging down my collar. I got the little magnet attachment for the mic, which I've been wanting really bad. That did end up being good, because I hate when my collar drags down. It really annoys me. Like, I can't focus as well when it's dragging on my neck. So that was another thing that I got as a reinvestment to Paint&Talk. But anyways, the easel was the big thing, right? So I'm looking at this easel, I'm looking at the complete set as I'm getting ready to go record yesterday, and I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. Like, I felt like I was looking at what I really wanted it to be the whole time, you know what I mean? And that's rare because, I don't know, I think we can all kind of relate to, like, you do something, or you keep imagining something, whether it's art or whether it's just like maybe a conversation, a hangout with a friend. You're imagining something and then you go and do it, and it's not 100% what you wanted it to be. This really felt like it was 100% what I wanted it to be. Like, it was as I imagined in my head for so long. So I was like, this is great. This is about to be the best Paint&Talk ever. I was like, the aesthetics are complete. I'm gonna start this camera. I'm gonna be like, guys, look at this easel. You'll never believe it. And you know, the crowd would roar at this easel. I thought this was the coolest thing ever. Mainly because after I edited the episode, and I still believe this to an extent, it would just make the whole thing look a lot better, right? Problem. the easel, while being exactly what it was chalked up to be, no shade to the Amazon seller, no diss there. Thank you, Amazon seller. While it was exactly what it was chalked up to be, it was so big. It was way too big. I kind of overestimated how much space I had in here. I've never measured this. I don't know how big I have to like play with. I know I have kind of a janky camera setup because of that, with one camera being behind me. So like, I know I'm not the most roomy in here, but I didn't know how bad it was until I got this easel. I put it in here and I start setting up the cameras, right, to record. In front of me, I set up the one that you're looking at right now. And you can see the easel kind of in front of me. It was blocking like this portion of my chest. I didn't love it, but it wasn't bad. I was like, I can deal with this. It'll still be cool. It'll be worth it to get the easel in the paint shop, right? Then I set up the other camera. There was no way to position this camera right because the easel was so much bigger than the painting, which was so much bigger than the carpet below me. And I was like, well, if I'm compromising having a nicer easel, but I'm showing off less of the tan background, it's ruining the colors of what I wanted this to be. So, the whole idea is like all neutrals on the back, and then you get the painting can pop more. That was my idea when I planned this whole thing. And it's worked fairly well. I think it looks nice. But this ruined it. This easel completely ruined it because you couldn't get the right shot with the easel. So then I start experimenting, right? I open up this side of the cube and I call this the cube. I don't know if I've called it that yet today. I think I have multiple times. So that probably just seemed like a really weird clarification. I call this the cube that I'm in. And I was like, I open up that side, I put the camera there to get a side shot of the painting. So I want you to like imagine for a second the painting, but like you're seeing it from like, you're seeing it from like right here. So you're seeing the brush move on it, but the painting's from a complete side angle. So you're getting a very warped perspective of this painting. And I thought it looked, at first I was like, this is terrible. Like this is just really bad because if the easel starts taking priority over the painting, then this is easel and talk, and that's not what it's supposed to be. That can't happen. But like from a certain perspective, I did like it, because it made for a cool shot. If I could have right now, in a way that it wouldn't interrupt anything else, a camera right here that I could show the side angle from, that'd be a cool shot to have every once in a while. But it's not good for a main shot. You still need, in my opinion, to be able to see the painting from up here. You need to be able to see the full thing, even if it's not exactly head on, like I wish it was. You need something, you need a little something. So I was getting a little upset for sure, just looking at this, because I was like, this isn't what I wanted it to be, and I kept searching for ways to make it like work. Eventually I settled on like just really opening everything up and having the camera be like right here, and it still didn't look great, but I was like, okay, maybe this is good. I thought that until I FaceTime my friend, right? So it was about a little while out from recording. Sometimes I set up and then I go do like 10 things, and then I'll record. Like today I set up and then I took a trip over to the comic store because I was procrastinating. But point aside, I set it up. I was on the phone with a friend later, so I was like, oh, take a look at this. So I removed the camera from the tripod, put the phone where the camera would be, go like, what do you think of this angle? I know he's watched a Paint&Talk before. I know he knows like what it looks like. I know he's never watched one again. So I'd say hi if he was watching, but unfortunately, he's a traitor and a crook, so he's not watching. But if he was, I'd say hi. I hope this gets back to him. That I'd say hi. But he's not. He's not watching, so I'm not saying hi. But he knows what the camera angles look like because I've shown him before. And I was like, take a look, what do you think? And he goes, ooh. And, he was trying to be nice about it, but he was essentially saying, like, this isn't good. Like, you cannot see what you're supposed to be seeing here. And, like, I definitely, and I'm going to be so transparent about this, I don't like taking criticism. No one does. No one likes being told that something's bad after they did it and they thought it was good, right? I think no one does, at least, but I know I don't. And so at first I was like, oh man, like maybe it's just him. That's kind of, I wasn't about to like yell at him. Of course, I'm not like a monster. But like I was like in my head, I was like, maybe like it's just him. Maybe I'm right and the shot's kind of cool. But then you know, everyone else will see it and they'll be like, this isn't bad. Like I was like, maybe this is just he's not seeing it, the vision until it's in Paint and Talk, which he's not gonna watch anyway. So I'm not saying hi. But then like I was like, what do you think could be better about it? And he went, the canvas. You can't see the painting. Like you want to see the painting. I was like, okay. Like he just confirmed one of my beliefs. You know what I mean? Like he kind of got me on that one, right? And then I was like, okay, what else? Is there anything else? Like, I was like, that I can kind of work on a little bit. And he was like, he goes, it just really looks like you're trying to get, like, it looks like you're trying way too hard to get this easel in there. Like, it looks like you're like it looks like the easel is the point of this. Back to what I was saying before, this is Paint and Talk, not easel and talk. So at that point, I was like, you know, I was like, all right, you know, I said bye to him, whatever. We talked on the phone a little more. I get off, I'm sitting down, I'm getting ready to record. I was like, I'll still go with it just for this one, you know, I'll figure it out later, but just for this one. But as I was sitting down, I was like, he called me out. Like, he got me. If this person who has not watched a single Paint and Talk, like, just saw the camera angle and went, man, you're trying really hard to get that easel in there. Everyone else would also be like he's trying really hard to get that easel in there. Like, it would have made the whole thing look significantly weirder. But you know, I was being headstrong about it, so I pushed forward, right? I was really committed to the idea of this easel, so I was like, no, like I'll figure out a way to make it work. Even if this one's bad, next one will be good once I figure out a way to make this easel work. This is a triumphant easel at this point. I think this is my ticket to success. Once the easel's in the thumbnail, you know, the richest man on earth. Hopefully not him, actually, not that guy. Who's a cool guy? My friend who never watches, and I'm not saying hi to right now, he would click. He'd finally click if he saw the easel in the thumbnail, you know? And so I'm thinking that, and I was like, let's go, let's just record. I start recording once. I paint the same thing I was painting today, full disclosure. You know, this is a painting that I wanted to do for a minute now. I think it looks kind of nice so far, which I'll get into after, but I paint the purple. I start painting the purple. I'm about 5 minutes in to explaining the easel, and like I'm trying to explain in it, you know, like the cameras are a little bad, guys, but you know, I'm gonna work on it eventually, and the camera's gonna be really good, but I need this easel in there. And I'm trying to, because obviously, like, me explaining to my friend, like, I like this easel is a lot easier than coming here in a long form, where this is 30 minutes. I got to explain, like, somewhat coherently why this is a good idea, you know what I mean? I can't, if I'm saying something that doesn't have any elaboration, then it's a one-sentence thing, and this wasn't a one-sentence thing, so I was kind of forced to, like, talk about it and almost think through it the way I think about anything else on this show. So I'm 5 minutes into recording, I'm trying to explain why this easel is such a good idea, and I remember, which I'm not going to do it to the head because you know, I'm painting blue right now, but I put the brush on the canvas and just pause and stare off into the distance, and like in my head I was just like, I sound so insane right now. Like I really just sound so crazy that like it really, not only does the shot look like I really want this easel in there, not only that, it looks like I want this easel in there, and I'm fanatic about this easel. Like, at this point, it looks like I might have built this easel myself. How hard I was trying to get this easel to work in Paint and Talk. So I stop the recording. I brush against canvas, I go, and I'm done. And I stand up, I stop the recording. I go, okay. I'm taking a look at the shots again, and I'm getting back into my head of like, no, this looks good. These shots look good. Obviously, this one was not really that much of an issue. I was just blocking off the chest. So I was like, that's fine. And then I look at the other camera, which was over here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, this is also fine. Like, this is very watchable. Like, I was like, my friend was wrong. He just needs to see the shots. Like, he just needs to understand that, like, this is cool once it's done. I go to record again. Same thing, right? I'm trying to explain a little less adequately this time because I thought the cameras looked better, what was going on, and why I needed this easel, right? Once again, I sound absolutely insane. And, you know, I think after hearing myself, because, and maybe I would ask my friend to confirm this if he was watching. He's not, so I won't. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that by now, that he's indeed not watching. But, you know, like, when I'm talking to my friend on the phone, I'm not really listening to myself talk, because as I shouldn't be. You know, it's a friend. I'm just kind of like blah 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 blah. You know, we're joking around, we're messing around. I'm on the phone with a friend. Same the way anyone else would be on the phone with a friend. They're not exactly listening to themselves talk as much as they would be where I'm listening to myself talk here. You know, when I'm in front of this, I have like, not that like I'm like hyper aware. Like I think I would, and I can't confirm this 100% because like, you know, I'm not self-aware enough to be honest. Like, I don't know about my speech patterns 100%, but like, I would say that I'm like about the same here as I would be in person. So I wouldn't say I'm putting on like a front or anything, but I'm definitely like moderating myself a little more. Like, I want to pause every now and again as I'm talking, and just mental check-in of like, am I telling a coherent thing right now? Am I going in order? Have I been talking too long about this thing? Like I'm sure you've noticed, like, I'll pause a lot of the time and go, that was a long tangent. Anyways, that's kind of me just being like, okay, I was on that for a little too long. That's not the point, back to the point, right? Since I'm doing that, it kind of made me like listen to myself talk and go like, whoa, that, like, this easel's not, like, this easel's making me go insane. So, listen. To summarize, before we do a little recap of like what I want, why I thought it was a good idea to tell this story, which as I've told it, I've kind of realized maybe it didn't have quite as much of a point as I thought it did. We're here though, you know. Before I do a little recap, let's get a comment on the easel, because I'm sure everyone's now wondering, where's the easel? I'm sure that's the big question in everyone's mind, because like, if you look at what's going on here, like there's no easel. This is the normal cheap easel that I have disgracefully used the entire time. The truth is, I'm not using the easel, right? I'm not using that easel. I married this idea, and there was no reason for that easel to be the easel that was getting used. Do I like the look of a wood easel far more than this disgustingly ugly metal easel? Yes. Do I think this is still a disgustingly ugly metal easel? 100%. I kind of appreciate it a little more. Like, it's like a friend now to me, that like I feel like it was like there for me when I needed it. So I appreciate it a little more. I think I'm a little attached to it now, but I still think it's disgusting looking. Like, I still, like, it's a friend that they never should ask you how they look in any outfit, you know? Because this is a disgusting looking easel. But the other easel is not gonna work. Like, it's just not. And it was a case, and this is why I wanted to tell it, because it was a case of me personally, and this is something I do quite a bit that I kind of hate that I do, me marrying an idea to an extent where I was willing to compromise anything to make it work, and the idea just wasn't worth it. It didn't have legs, you know? When the easel's not working from that angle and the easel's not working from that angle, the answer is fairly simple. The easel doesn't work, right? But I didn't see that, you know what I mean? I kept going, I was like, I'll push through, and it led to just a really awful day of recording. And you know, I don't mean to get too sappy here on you guys, but like, this does mean a lot to me, you know what I mean? Like, I do this every single day. As much as like, it's not my job, I take it seriously though, you know what I mean? And anyone who knows me in person can attest to that. Like, I do take these things fairly seriously. I want them to come out good. So like when I do have a bad day of recording, when I have to give up because I'm now officially out of time to record, because I tried twice to record and it didn't go well, there's, you know, it does kind of mess me up for like a couple hours at least after. I went and got Indian food with a friend, so then I was fine. That's all I needed. I love, oh my God, I don't know the name of the dish. That's so embarrassing. I just point to it. Anyways, though, that was why I had a bad day yesterday, right? That was the story, which I adequately told in approximately half of the runtime of today's show. It was a very easy story to tell. No, I'm joking. I know I've gone about 30 minutes now. This is going to be a little bit of a longer episode. Sorry. Don't mean to take up too much of your time. But anyways, why did I think this was like a good story to tell? honestly, the reason why I thought this was a good story to tell is because I feel like I did learn a lesson, or at least I've come to terms with the fact that I need to learn a lesson. I think if you're an artist, you've probably heard of this before. Maybe you haven't. If you haven't, this is the first time you'll be hearing it. There's often a phrase like, don't marry your ideas, right? Don't get so focused on an idea that you won't compromise for it, because usually it's going to come out really bad. And I've heard this a lot my whole life. And I've kind of like been, you know, when like your friend brings up something, like let's say you know that you have a really ugly shirt on, but you kind of like it still, and you walk out to your friend and you're like, does my outfit look good? And they go, that shirt's ugly. And you get hyper defensive about it. Like you're like it was just the only shirt they had. It was the only shirt I could put on. I don't like it. It's the only shirt I could put on. You know, like you get like that. That's kind of how I was about myself marrying ideas 24/7, because I would. And honestly, as much as like I think I've kind of learned the lesson yesterday, I still do. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's an overnight thing. It's something I genuinely need to get better at, because, you know, like my whole life when I've heard that advice, I've kind of gone like, okay, but like I'm just like I combated it with thinking I was an exception to the rule almost, of like, no, like I do marry ideas, but it's because they're really great ideas, which now that I say it out loud, again, kind of thinking about what I'm saying a little more, that's what everyone who's ever married an idea says. They go, it's a really good idea. So like, duh, you know what I mean? Should have seen that one coming. But, you know, I've always kind of thought I was an exception to the rule, because I've never quite, I've never put my art out there enough to see people go, it's really bad, you know? I think now at my grown age, I've been making stuff since I was 6 and making stuff fairly seriously since I was 13. Now at my grown age, I'm finally comfortable enough to put it out there, to go like, I want to either talk about this or I want to discuss this, because even if, how do I put this right? I'm not good enough to be a good artist yet, but I am good enough to recognize that where I can be a better artist. So it makes it easier to share something and directly go like, this is bad because of XYZ. Like for an example, the painting right in front of me, right? I like the painting, I do, but the right around here, these lines, that's a little messy. I don't know if it's picking up 100% of the camera. If not, head over to the Instagram, you'll see it. You know, these little green spots are a little messy because I'm not blending it quite as well. I don't have the technique to do that. These spots are bad, you know? And now that I'm like comfortable enough, in myself, in my art, and just like with my overall development, and quite frankly, mature enough to just like say that and feel comfortable saying like, this could be better, but it is what it is. And not feel weird about that, that's why I started sharing my art more, right? So I think now, like, a year into really doing this was the first time where I had to directly be like, I married this idea, and I could visibly and tangibly watch it almost just affect something in a bad way. And listen, of course, you know, I've told this story fairly dramatically. If I just did the episode with the easel and it looked bad, it wouldn't be the end of the world. You know, you just tune in the next day or comment and say, get rid of that easel. You know, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it was something where I could directly see it be bad, you know? And I think this is almost like, I wouldn't say a pivotal part, but kind of an ongoing development in my larger journey, because something interesting did happen about 2 years ago now when I read the Steve Jobs biography, right? So more context, we're back to context now, 34 minutes in. You know, I used to be like super anti-perfectionism. I even had the phrase, good enough is good enough. Sometimes it is, full disclosure, sometimes it is. You know, if you're taking a test, good enough is good enough. You know, that's how I've always viewed it. You know, an A is an A, that kind of thing. I've always kind of lived by that, and that seeped into other aspects of my life, such as my art. When I read the Steve Jobs biography and I got to like directly see just how well Steve Jobs' perfectionism did for him, and that's like basically the reason the iPhone, the Mac, and all these things like ended up being good despite them not having the most advanced technology, it made me really go like, wow, there's definitely a value in perfectionism. Like that book fully taught me the lesson of, you know, you should try harder. You should be more attentive to every little detail. And that's something that personally, and not to get cocky, but I'm about to get cocky, I feel has seeped into a lot of like my videos and what I do. You know, since I've been making videos for so long, both before and after I read that book, like I look back at my old videos and I notice every little tiny flaw now because of how much more attentive I've gotten. And I think, I will say like, in full confidence, I think that's a great thing. I think that's an amazing thing, and I'm like borderline proud of that. Because I think that's genuine growth and development. I do. But, you know, I hadn't, let's say, how do I put this? I didn't do it long enough where I discovered the detriments of that, right? So I hadn't done it long enough where I really got the chance to see what does perfectionism to a detriment look like, you know? I still, even after yesterday, believe that everyone could stand for being like a little bit more of a perfectionist than they are. I think a lot of people could benefit from that. But, you know, I never had the chance to see what does it look like when you go too far on this. And that's like, listen, I'm not acting like I went like too far on something by getting this easel in there, but it was a direct case in which I could see I went too far just to the point where it affected something that I didn't want affected. My goal was to create a complete aesthetic, which is something I'm really into, and maybe we'll discuss in tomorrow's Paint and Talk, why I'm so into that. Like, I think a complete vibe, a complete aesthetic, a complete feeling is like a really great goal in all art. I set out to do that, and by being a perfectionist about this one thing, that like I need the easel, it also made it so that it was a genuine detriment to everything else. I was a perfectionist in that area to an extent where it started hurting the other areas in the exact case I didn't want to hurt it. I was so focused on making this easel the complete vibe that the whole vibe was ruined by ruining the colors of it, or by ruining the angle of it, or by not having a painting, you know? Painting well displayed in the video, I mean, you know? So like, again, I'm aware that I've told the story fairly dramatically. It is just an easel. But I think it taught me a really valuable lesson about like, there is such thing as being too headstrong. There is such thing as perfectionism to a fault. It's okay to marry a goal instead of marrying an idea, because oftentimes the idea won't get you to the goal, but staying focused on that goal will. Which is exactly what happened yesterday. I married the idea, right? Because I thought it would get me to a goal, and I should have just stayed focused on the goal instead. I should have gotten the easel, gone, does this work? Let's just try this real quick. It didn't work. Instead, I had this easel in mind for a year, and then I married the easel. Not literally, figuratively. I didn't get married to it, but like I married the idea of this easel, and then it ended up being to the detriment of the goal. You know? And maybe I will say, just because like I've kind of come to a conclusion here of like marry goals, not ideas, I will say with like full transparency, there's a solid chance that a year from now, I'm sitting here saying don't marry anything, because I feel like that's what I've heard a lot, and maybe I'll discover that on my journey over this next year of doing this Paint and Talk thing, you know? But for now, that's how I feel. I feel like marry goals, not ideas, is like what I'm gonna try for now. And with that, I've actually finished the painting. I don't hate it. I think that it got, so what I was going for with this painting, if you'll give me a minute here, I know I've already run 40 minutes, but what I was going for with this painting was I wanted it to be very flat. Like I didn't want the strokes to be too heavy on it, and except for like up here, they're not too heavy. I think it's like pretty flat overall, but I also wanted the line work to be a little messy. Like I wanted to have like a dry blur around here. Instead it's on a wet blur where the colors are mixing a little bit. So that I don't love, for sure. That I'm definitely not the biggest fan of. So what I might do, which I don't know if it'll dry even before I get to post it, or like if it'll be able to even like, if this will work at all. I kind of want to, yeah, this will probably be after I post it. I'm going to go in once it's dry and go over it with more colors if I can match them right, and just try and get to closer to what I want it to be. Or is that kind of antithetical? I don't know, like, cause what I want to do too eventually is hang all these on my wall. Um, like the first 30 or so, enough to fill a wall. Um, I want to do that. So like, is it kind of better to have them be ugly in some areas? Because I think this is cool. I think the colors work how I want them to. I think it's a guy going like this, if you can't tell. Not sure why. Um, but I just thought it was cool. And, I think there is a little, I don't know, because when I sketched this in my notebook earlier, I named it something. Maybe it has meaning. I don't know. But either way, like now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, I kind of realized what I did here. Either way though, check the Instagram to see if I decided that's real or not. I have to think about that a little more. I don't want to do that right on camera, but maybe it's better to just have the progression of the painting, like slowly. You can see where it's ugly in some spots. Which the colors work. It's fairly good. I think this is a cool thing. But anyways, for my post game notes, as always, check out the Instagram. I post them there every day with a little description, get some different shots of it. I think the colors come across a lot better on the Instagram, and you see it from straight on with the strokes. You get those different angles. So definitely check out the Instagram. And until tomorrow in 24 hours, DM me like Amazon links to easels, because unrelated to today's story, I am in the easel market. I do happen to be in the easel market.